Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. So we are going to be doing something a little different. Instead of doing your typical weekly readings, we're actually going to do a monthly reading for September for each sign. Hopefully that will help kind of dive into some specifics that are happening with you and your situation at this time to get you some more detailed information particular to you. Do keep in mind this is a general reading. It is for a lot of people. So you might find there's only one or two messages for you. When I do these readings, I do pray, prepare, shuffle. I do ask that each of you receive at least one message, but it is good to keep in mind it is for a large audience. And if you find that not much is resonating with your sun sign, go ahead and listen to your moon or your rising. You might be able to get some information from those as well. And if you're still finding there's only a few messages, that's good. That means things aren't too bad. So I would be thankful for that. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you don't know much about me, I survived a bombing in Afghanistan. And at that time, my spiritual gifts were opened up, like blasted open up. I am clairaudient. I hear Jesus and the angels talk to me. I'm a medium. I'm an empath. I'm certified by Doreen Virtue. I have a couple certificates by her. I am a quantum touch energy medicine practitioner. For those of you that aren't familiar, that is it's a healing modality. So like in a 3-hour healing session, and I give all the credit to God, a 3-hour healing session, I've had hundreds of people healed of cancer, multiple sclerosis, even like hip replacements, and down to things that are less severity, like healing broken bones, healing torn tendons, you know, whatever it is, it can be taken care of with quantum touch. So welcome. You can read more about me. I'm not going to go into any more details, but there is an About Me section on my webpage. Feel free to check that out. For those of you that have been here for a while, thank you. Glad to have you continuing to return. Thank you for your subscriptions, your comments. Thanks for sharing these videos. I do love hearing how these are helping you. So even though I can't respond to all of you, continue sending the comments my way. I do love reading them. Now, for those of you that are going to be asking about sessions or readings, I'm still not accepting new clients because I am booked out quite a bit in advance with current clients, but please stay tuned. As soon as my retirement is finalized, I will then open up for new clients. It should be happening in the very, very near future. I will announce it in these readings. So as soon as it's announced, then you will be able to go online and book appointments. So we are going to do a little educational bit, and actually this is going to be the same intro for every single sign. So if you do go and listen to your moon or rising, you can skip past this part. I know a lot of you are going to want to skip past this anyhow, but I would encourage you to stay because it is going to help you kind of understand what's going on right now with the energy. So as we all know, the energy is extremely intense right now. It has been for most of the year, but especially since we had the eclipse on August 21st. And it's, as you notice, everyone's like, oh, why hasn't it settled down? Because it's starting to ramp up even more. And it's going to continue like this all the way through the end of September. Many of you know that on September 23rd, there is going to be that Revelations 12 sign. If you are not familiar, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just go to watch whichever one you are guided to watch, and you'll be able to get some information on that. The 144,000 should all be sealed by September 23rd. And what you're going to find is things are going to start to ramp up even more than they are. So if you've not done any research yet, there is this Schumann resonance, and it's the Earth's heartbeat. Essentially what it is, you know, the Earth has a frequency, and it's an interplay with our electromagnetic field. Essentially, it's the pulses of energy between the Earth's surface and our ionosphere. And for years and years and years, the Earth's resonance heartbeat was at 7.83 hertz. And what they noticed in 2014 is that it began increasing. And 7.83, if you think of it, it's kind of like an alpha theta, like a dream state. You know, you're very calm, you're very relaxed. Once it gets over 16.5, that's kind of like, you know, actually over 15, it's kind of like an awakened calm. So like an awakening, spiritual awakening. And that is why a number of people have been going through all this awakening stuff. It's been particularly intense for millions of people since 2014. And it's continued to increase. They found that in 2017, it had jumped to over 36 plus hertz. And once you get over 36, it's kind of like there's this nervousness and anxiety in people's brain versus that calm, healthy state. But what that does is that starts to change our DNA. That starts to bring in more of God's light. It pushes out the dark. And we see that every day. We see these things happening, and we're kind of shocked that these things are happening in our world right now. But in order to fill things with more light, with more love, you have to get rid of the dark. And you got to push the dark out so it comes to the surface so we get to see more of it. Now, on a personal level, what's happening for us is that's forcing all of us to release our own individual darkness, our karma. We have to release those things. We have to learn those lessons. We have to heal those things. That's why we've been under such intense pressure and being pushed, kind of like in a pressure cooker that's about to bubble over, because there's just so many things being pulled from our lives, released from our lives, let go. But that is because we're being filled with more light, more of God's light, love, coming into a state of unconditional love. To come into that state, we can't hold on to the darkness anymore. We can't hold on to people that aren't meant for us. We can't hold on to situations that aren't meant for us. All those things that do not serve us, all those things that are not of love, of unconditional love, and even down to not loving ourselves, that all has to go. Has to be released, has to be healed. Lessons have to be learned, things have to be let go of. And that's prepare us for things that are to come. And it's all this big awakening that we're going through, this ascension process. And there's a lot of ascension symptoms and things that you go through. There's actually a guy that does YouTube videos. I don't often have time to watch his videos, but when I do, he's got really good videos. And I think he posts one per day. But if you want to check him out, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel below. His name is Victor Odo, and he talks about the ascension process. And he gives tips and pointers and things that you can do to ground yourself, to release things, because there's a lot that you can do. I mean, if you're struggling, because a lot of people have been struggling since the 21st. They've had a lot of ailments, conditions, headaches, rashes, all types of things popping up. Tonight, fill your tub, fill it up with some water, put some Epsom salt in there, and soak in the tub for 20 minutes. That will release those physical toxins, that will release those emotional toxins, that will help you get to feeling better. Anytime you feel these things bubble up, that's because you're releasing things. And in order to speed that up, soak in the tub, go see a healer, walk outdoors in nature. You know, for some it's also changing diet, but there's things that you can do to help this, help your system quickly release it. And he does cover those things in his videos. Now, you will find, because a lot of you, again, since the eclipse, you've had just a lot of intense energy, weird things happening with your body, headaches that won't go away. A lot of you are kind of feeling like anxious, like, oh my gosh, something's about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm a little anxious. I don't know why. That's because things are going to be continuing to accelerate. Clear up until September 23rd. Now, with the whole ascension process, it's still going to be intense after that, but you will get a bit of a breather. So once we get into October, you get to take a deep breath, kind of calm down a little bit. But it is in preparation for things that are to come. So I'm going to share some information, and don't be worried about this information. It's all good. It's all bringing us to a better place. It's not something to freak out about. But when you read the Bible and you look at that, what it talks about in the Bible, like the rapture, that is true. These things we are going to see in our lifetimes, those of us that are here right now. And again, it's not something to fear. But what we're doing is we're preparing essentially for, if you look at it, it's kind of like the earth is going to be splitting into two. So there will be like this new earth. There's actually some videos out there. Dolores Cannon, she did hypnosis sessions, and people were always talking about this new earth, this split. And many of the things that she shares in her videos are true. Now, not everything, but many things are. So what I would recommend is check out some of her videos. You know, pray, ask that your angels and God and Jesus, ask that they come and they help you discern what is true and what is not. And ask that they help fill in some blanks for you. Because you'll find if you ask that, you will know immediately something that's resonating with you that, yeah, that is true, that is spot on. You'll know what is not, and they will fill in the blanks for you. But you do have to pray and ask that they do that beforehand. But what's described in the Bible. And actually, if you look at, you know, religious texts and look at them, there's actually bits and pieces from different parts, because, you know, Jesus was a Jew. He actually was an Essene. The Essenes are the foundation of Christianity. It kind of all grew and evolved from there. But what it talks about with that, you know, going to be going through the rapture process, things are going to appear that are like that. Now, the severity of things that do occur as we're going through these changes do hinge off of where we are as a collective. You know, we can make things not as bad. We can make things worse. It depends on whether we're coming from a place of love or whether we're coming from a place of fear, where we're all coming from too, and what we're contributing to that. But we are going to get to a state in this split where millions of people are going to disappear. What is going to appear for the people that are on old Earth is that, you know, they'll wake up, because it will happen in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, and just millions of people will be gone. And those that are going to be gone, those are going to be the people that believe. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Not to delve too deeply into texts and things to look at in scriptures and stuff, but I encourage all of you as we go through this to do your own research, look at things and see what really truly resonates with your heart and soul. Because what you'll find is you'll learn a lot, and you'll find that these things are going to resonate with you. Because when you watch, like, you know, Dolores Cannon, she did these hypnosis sessions, and they're coined QHHT sessions. When you watch those, you'll find a lot of people, when they talk about the new earth, when they are asked, like, what's required to get to the new earth, they always, you know, they'll say that, you know, they have to believe. They have to believe in God. They have to believe. That's true. Now, when you look at Jesus, when Jesus was here, again, he was born Jewish, he was an Essene, but he loved everyone. It didn't matter the color of your skin. It didn't matter what your religious upbringing was. He traveled around. He loved everyone. He was here as a savior, a Messiah for everyone here on earth. Everyone, all of us, every single one of us. And it's interesting, because when I do healing sessions, and you know, I'm a seer as well. Oftentimes when I'm doing them, I'll see what my clients are physically wearing on the other side of the world while I'm working on them. But when I'm doing these healing sessions, and, you know, it might be my client or someone doing soul contract cancellations with or whatever, the moment that Jesus comes into the scene, because when I'm doing these sessions, Archangel Michael's always there, Archangel Raphael's usually there, but sometimes Jesus will come in during the session, and the moment that he enters, the client, their family members, whomever else is there, all of them will immediately drop to the ground and bow down to him, because he emulates that power. Jesus is power. He is the light. He is the light that will snuff out the darkness. And he truly is. Like, if you look at near-death experiences, when people have a God come in that they meet, that they get to experience, it's always Jesus. And I encourage you to try it for yourself, actually. Because, again, we're all supposed to learn. We're not supposed to just blindly believe things that we're told. You know, we're even taught that, you know, in the biblical texts. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to discern. We are supposed to dig. We're also supposed to ask, and we will receive the guidance and information. Not to trust what others are giving us, not to be deceived. So many of you, because you are going through this ascension process, many of you are actually under psychic attack right now. There is a spiritual war going on between light and dark. So many of you are being attacked by darker entities. You know that because you're having bad dreams, or, you know, your animals or your kids are just fighting all the time. It's like there's a lot of this anger and hatred in your home. Or maybe you're tripping when you're at the house, and it's kind of like you feel like someone pushed you or shoved you, or you accidentally cut yourself and you're like, I wasn't even doing it. It's almost like something else did it to you. Or maybe in your dreams you're getting red eyes, or you're having a really lot of dark dreams, and they're kind of scary and worrisome. When you're experiencing those things, that's because something dark is in your home. It's very easy to remove those things. Now, you can, in your own power, command that person to leave, that entity to leave. You can call upon any higher power that you want to. You can say in their name for it to leave. What you will find is that entity will not leave. However, when you command it to leave in the name of Jesus, and you call on God and Jesus to help you, and you command it in the name of Jesus to leave, you'll find that you and your family get instant relief, that it's gone. And that's something I encourage clients to do right away, because, you know, I'll talk with clients, they'll be like, oh my gosh, all these bad things are happening, and I don't know how to stop it. And when I recommend that they try that, suddenly the dark stuff's gone. Suddenly their kids are getting along. Suddenly their animals are getting along. Suddenly they're not tripping and hurting themselves anymore, because there is power in the name of Jesus, and it's gone. But you, again, don't have to believe me. Try it yourself. See how it works. Now, I know I've shared in some other videos that last September I was falling asleep, and there was this, it was as though someone was standing outside of my bedroom playing a trumpet. Now, it's interesting because in, you know, Jewish, there's different, you know, feasts that they have. They have feasts of trumpets. Then these are very important points when you look at things that have happened worldwide that are big, that have been, you know, foretold in our theological religious texts, not just Christianity. They happen on a Jewish feast, because that's how God times things. That's how Jesus times things. And so we were around one of the feasts, and I hear like someone, it's as though literally standing outside my bedroom window playing a trumpet. And then within a couple days, I was unloading my car, I was outside, and all of a sudden I heard this, like a horse, and it literally blew on my neck and jumped, it made me jump, and I was startled. And it was Jesus on this white horse, and he told me to not be afraid, and he told me that it's time to prepare, it's time to start preparing. Now, if you're familiar, Jesus on a white horse, when he returns on a white horse. So, and you can research that and check that out, but there are things that are about to occur, that are about to happen. So, like some may have noticed, like we've had a lot of people passing away the past 2-3 years, and like people that are young, totally unexpected, and it's been a lot of people. Like, you know, in our lifetimes, we've never seen anything like this until recently. That's going to continue into early 2018. That's because our loved ones, they know what's about to come. They want to witness it from the other side. They don't want to get to experience it with us. They will be with us. They will be helping us. They're just going to be doing it from the other side. They're going to let us have the experience. And that's why there have been so many of them passing on, because they have made that choice to not be on this side for everything. Now, again, it's not something to be afraid of. But what will happen is these people who believe, they will disappear. They'll be on this new earth. Now, that new earth, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details about that, but maybe at some point we'll do some down the road when they tell me it's time. We'll do some educational video about that. But essentially, people will be there for about 1,000 years. Eventually, it's like they're returning to Garden of Eden. And over that time, over that 1,000 years, people's bodies will evolve into light bodies. So then it will eventually evolve to the point that, you know, people are there, but they're not physical bodies. So, but we'll talk about that more later. Simultaneously, around that same time, what will happen is these people will disappear, and that's going to be millions. Because a lot of people think that they're going to be left behind because, you know, the Bible states only 144,000 are going to be ascending. No, millions of people who are believers, are going to just, boop, disappear. Almost at that exact time, immediately following the disappearance within minutes, the 144,000 will ascend. And those that are here on old earth will physically see them ascending. And what they're going to see is they're going to see Jesus on a white horse. They're going to see his army of angels behind him, and they're all on white horses. And those 144,000 that are going to ascend, they are angels incarnated. They're physically in human bodies right now, but they will be ascending. They are part of God's army. And that's going to be kind of like the final throwdown with the dark. But once that's all done, and that's going to be very swift and quick. I mean, if you look at human times, it's going to be something that's going to happen in under an hour. It's going to be very, very fast. And then those 144,000 will meet their families on the new earth. And it will seem like they weren't even gone. It'll seem like, you know, seconds. But it's not anything to fear. You really don't have anything to fear and worry about. I mean, if you look at it, if you're listening to this video, you're preparing to go to New Earth. You're experiencing all these ascension systems. all these ascension symptoms, you're preparing. Your system's changing, your body's changing. You are preparing to make that change, make that leap. That's a beautiful thing. And when you look at it, I mean, it's been a struggle for us because we've had to lose friends, we've had to lose lovers, we've had all these things taken out of our life. But that's because those things aren't good for us. And we're going to a place that's filled with love and bliss and joy and unconditional love. Those things were not of unconditional love, so they're not meant to go with us. That's why we have to let them go. You can even find that you're having very positive experiences. Like maybe you have, I was talking with a friend and, you know, we were having a conversation about how, you know, you can be driving the same path as someone else to work at the same time. And maybe you don't experience any traffic and you don't experience any car accidents. It's like easy breezy. You're hitting every green light. You're like, this day is amazing, best ever. But then you talk to your friend who drove the same time, the same route, and they experienced nothing but stop traffic, red lights, car accidents. It was a horrible drive to work for them. That's because you're starting to see the split. The split's starting to already occur. So some of us are having really good positive experiences. Some of us are not having such good experiences. The split's starting to occur. And that's why now is the time to prepare. It's time to prepare spiritually, it's time to prepare mentally, it's time to prepare physically. And what that really means to us is it's time to stop the distractions. You know, the angels have been talking nonstop in all of our videos the past couple months is stop the distractions, stop the multiple relationships, the rebounds, the drugs, the addictions, the behaviors that aren't, you know, in your highest good. If you're supposed to be, you know, because those of us that have things that we still need to let go of that we're like clinging tightly to, we know what it is that we're being guided to do and let go of. We know that. It is time to do those things that we're being guided to do. So if you're being guided to let go of an ex or a partner or job or even a diet change, whatever it is that you're being guided to do that. Because so many of us, because the things that we're still holding on to, we're holding on to it out of fear. We are terrified to let that person go, that thing go, because that's been, you know, that's been constant for us. That's been, even though it's not been happy, it's been stability for us. It's been comfort for us. We don't want to venture into the unknown, but that is the one thing that is not meant for us. It's not good for us. We know that. But instead of dealing with that, many of us have turned to other relationships, or we've turned to alcohol, or we've turned to drugs, or we've turned to pornography, or we've turned to anything and everything that will keep us off of doing what we're meant to do, keep us from having those conversations, keep us from ending those ties, keep us from signing the paperwork. But the time has come to do those things because they're trying to bring us back to a state of unconditional love. They're trying to bring us to a state of loving ourselves, loving others. They're bringing us into a state of wholeness. We can't be whole and happy with this baggage we keep lugging around. We have got to let the baggage go because we're drowning. We've been struggling to tread water for a while and it's drowning us. So we've got to let that dead weight go. And what you will find this weekend, if you happen to listen to this, the first weekend of September, for those of us in the United States, you'll be celebrating Labor Day. But it'll be this weekend all the way through the full moon that we're going to be having this first week of September. It's going to be intense. You're going to feel some of that intensity that you felt around the eclipse. And that's because they're hitting us to release those things that don't serve us. So, like maybe you're noticing a repeated theme. Like something keeps happening over and over and over, but you're clinging to something you know you need to let go of. It's time to let go because you can't take that with you. You can't take that person with you. So maybe you started, you know, dating someone else. Maybe there's an ex you're supposed to be letting go of. And, you know, you've not let that ex go because maybe you think it's going to change, or maybe there's money worries, or you're afraid of going into the unknown. Or it could be that like your family relies, and I'm not talking your kids because you still get to take care of your children. You need to keep taking care of your children. But I'm talking about like maybe their family counts on you, their siblings or something, or maybe there's like some community connection with them and you don't want to let them down. But for some reason, if you boil it down though, it's fear. You continue to hold on to them. But maybe you're not talking with them at this point. You've not ended the final ties. So while you're sitting in this place of limbo, knowing that you're to release that ex, and you haven't, not wanting to deal with it, you start jumping into other relationships, and maybe you jump into a rebound relationship, but you're discovering that that rebound is a lot like your ex. You know, maybe they are very manipulative, or maybe they really try and nag you into doing things or push you to do things, or maybe they're trying to push you to quickly commit, or they could be like a me person, self-centered, it's all about them. Or they make you feel bad in order to get you to do something that they want you to do. And you feel kind of like, dang, this is like my ex. I feel like I've jumped back into my ex. That's because it's a repeated pattern. You are seeing the same attributes and characteristics of your ex because you have not released your ex. You have not released that karma. You have not learned that lesson. So it's ramping up. It's ramping up because it's time to let that person go. So this weekend through the full moon, this next week, many people are going to have some huge breakthroughs, some big epiphanies, some ahas. That is meant to help you let go of that fear that is keeping you from taking that leap of faith, that final step of clearing that karma, releasing that person, releasing that situation, because the time has come. And we've been pushed to do this for a couple years, because what you'll find is essentially the way the planets are going to be aligned at this time is the same way they were aligned during the eclipse in 2015. So some of you were being pushed to release the exact same thing or person 2 years ago in August 2015. But what happened is you did not want to let go. You're like, oh, hell no. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on with both hands. I'm going to cling with both legs. I'm going to drag on their leg because I'm not letting them go. This is my plan. I'm sticking to it. I refuse to release it or release them. But you clung on. So for some of you, say it was a love interest. You know, in the fall, heading into the winter of 2015, you decided to, maybe you proposed to them. Maybe you remarried them. Maybe you married them. Maybe you stopped divorce proceedings. Or it could be maybe you stayed at that job. But instead of letting go, you went the opposite direction. You clung out of fear. For many of us, the exact same thing we were to release in 2015 is boiling back up. And many of you have seen that same exact situation bubble up recently. And you're really going to see it bubble up this week because it's out of fear that you're clinging on to it or clinging on to them. The time has come. It is time to let them go. It is time to let the situation go. We are really being pushed to take that leap of faith. Take that plunge, release the fear, release them. We're also going to be pushed to deal with the things that we keep ignoring. So maybe we don't want to deal with it because it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation or a difficult conversation, or it's going to be, you know, outside of our norm, outside of our comfort zone. So we're like, oh gosh, I just don't want to deal with that. I just can't deal with that right now. I'd rather just keep burying my head in the sand or burying my head in someone else instead of having to deal with it. It's coming to a culmination point where it has to be dealt with. That's why we have been under so much intense pressure now for a couple years, because we have to release it. We have to let it go. We can't go to the new earth. We can't go through this ascension stuff that's about to happen until we release these people, these situations, this karma. If you look at it, an easy way to look at it is to sit down and think, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this person? Because if you look at it, or situation, typically there's something that you were to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Because if we love ourselves unconditionally, we won't allow people to treat us that way. We won't allow them to make us feel as though we are less than. We will establish healthy boundaries. We will not tolerate a job where we are not respected and valued. But we have to love ourselves. But instead of getting so wound up in emotions, if we can separate and look at it, and also pray, God, Jesus, angels, help me. What was I supposed to learn from this? Because as soon as you realize what you were supposed to learn, suddenly you don't have the emotions, you don't have the desire to cling to them anymore. You're like, okay, deuces. Deuces, learned it, don't want to go through this anymore. I'm tired of this crap. And for those of you that have found a rebound that they're the exact same as an ex, you'll be done with them too. Because you're like, no, I deserve better than that. I am worthy of better than that. I am so worthy of so much better. And I've now figured out what I was supposed to learn, and I'm done with it. But the time to do that is now. Because you can't take them with you. And you don't want to be stuck here because you can't release the fear. You can't release those words. You can't come back to a state of loving yourself unconditionally. That's why we're all being pushed. It's gotten so intense for all of us. But for those of us that have released things, congratulations, because those of you that have released those big karmic things, yeah, the eclipse was still, it was intense for everybody. It was still intense. It might have bothered you a little bit, but you weren't depressed. You weren't having panic attacks. You were just kind of breezing through it. Congratulations. You have released your big lessons, your karma. You are prepared. You are ready. For those of you that are not, use this time to let it go, to sit down, and also to face your emotions, because for some of you, they're saying you don't want to deal with it because you do not want to face your emotions. You don't want to share them. You don't want to acknowledge that you have them. You don't want to open up. You don't want to be honest. You don't want to be honest with yourself. You don't want to be honest with others. This is the time to do that. Let those walls down. Take your mask off. It will be worth it. And for those of you that are fearing the conversations, they're not going to be as difficult as you think they will be. Because if it's meant to be, if it's a conversation to let someone or something go, it's going to go real easy, and you're going to release that instantaneously because you have so much support on the other side. And also on the flip side, if it's a conversation for someone that you're meant to bring into your life or something that you're meant to do, that's going to go really easy too. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up because we think, oh, I really messed that up real bad. That's not going to happen. Don't have those fears. Just, you have an entire team helping you. Ask that they help you. Because again, the thing to keep in mind, our angels cannot help us unless we ask for their help. Because we have free will. The only time they will ever step in without us asking is if it's life or death. If it's not our time to go, they're going to step in and keep us here. But other than that, they will face palm all day long and wonder, why won't you ask? We can help you. We can make it easier. Just ask for their help. They will make it easy. It'll be a breeze. Because if you had nothing but heartache and trials and tribulations and blocks and headaches this whole time, you know what you're being guided to do. You got this whole team behind you that's going to help you execute it and make those changes. Let them help you. Ask them, they help you do that this week. It'll be worth it. And then you'll find that you're not going to be stuck in this little hell any longer, because for those of you that have clung on, it's been a pretty miserable 2 years. Aren't you ready for things to get better? For things to get better, it's time to stop the distractions, do what you're being guided to do. Because when you've released that person, situation, that karma, you have learned that lesson, you will be back to a state of loving yourself. You will not feel bad about making choices that are good for you. You will not allow someone to control and dominate you. You will set healthy boundaries, and you'll just come back into a state of bliss, of happiness, where life's easy, where you're that person who's driving down the road and you've got every green light and you're listening to your favorite song and you're getting a little dance party going on in your car. You're like, life is so good. Thank you for this. Life is good. To come back to a state of loving life and loving every minute of it and knowing that life is good, you got to do your work. But it's not going to be as hard as you think. So they're there. Let them help you. Do that. Use this time, use this energy, use your team, and just do it already. Get her done. And then get back to your happy, because they're ready to bring you some happy. Okay, so I know that was long, and I'm going to do each of your signs and astrological readings. So just know that however long this is right now, you're just going to get to skip past this on each of them. I will put it at the beginning of each one. And let's go ahead and get started with your monthly astrological readings. Hello, Sagittarius. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is in store for you in the month of September. I have prayed over the cards, shuffled them, asked that each of you receives at least one message. Do bear in mind, it is for a large number of people, so you might find only a couple messages are resonating with you, and that's okay. You can listen to your moon or your rising sign. Now, for those of you that are interested in the cards, I'll post all of those below. So, actually, you know what? We can cover them. I've got Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot. I have her Mary, Queen of Angels, also her Archangel Michael deck. And I have Colette Baron Reid's Wisdom of the Oracle. And I have also prayed over and prepared my Findicicle Kippers, Sibylla's, and Lenormand's if we need clarifiers along the way. Okay. Table's very slippery today, so hopefully you guys can see them, so I don't have to pick all of them up. Let me check real quick, make sure you guys can see it. Okay, perfect. Now let's see here. Well, right out the gate's not so very pretty. You have, okay. So this spread, you have your situation. What's the foundation, essentially what has led to the situation. Then you have what's blocking you, what is unknown to you at this time, and what the angels are recommending you do this month to free yourselves and get yourself moving. You do have one major arcana. That is the situation. It's a big deal. That does mean that there's a lot of destiny and fate involved. And then you have the minor arcana pips. That's stuff that you have more control over. But you don't really have much control. It is a fated thing, a karmic thing for you to release someone or a situation. In traditional tarot, this would be the death card. And it is 13, it is release. And at the bottom it says, let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, time to move on. And this card is really all about, you know, learning from the past, moving forward, letting go of the things that are holding us back. Because, you know, sometimes if we're really attached to someone or something, it blocks us from progress. It blocks us from moving forward. It blocks us from happiness. It blocks us from all the things that we desire. And right now is a time that you need to release that person or that situation in order to move forward, to move in a new direction, to move towards something that will bring you the things that you desire. And a number of you, you're having a really hard time letting. For most of you, it's a person that you need to let go of. It could be a situation, but you're having difficulties letting it go. It's been a challenge, but you can't move forward until you let it go. Because by letting go of the person, letting go of the situation, you will open up new opportunities to get the things that you desire, the things that you're seeking. And death is really all about truly an ending, a completion, completing a cycle. They're trying to help you release this person so you can complete this cycle. So for many of you, it's like a karmic relationship, a karmic situation, something that was here to help you learn a lesson, come into a state of loving yourself, and to move on, move forward. Now, as far as what has led to this situation, you have 6 of Winter, and at the bottom it says positive changes are on their way. A welcome relief from troubled times, traveling or relocating. You see that he's in this boat, he's got this light, he's trying to move forward. Traditional tarot, this would be the swords, and swords are all about our thoughts. So you haven't been able to release this person or situation because you're just totally stuck in your thoughts. You're spinning around in your mind, and there's not been any action. This card is really about having our challenges and our worries and our fears fading away as we prepare and we begin to sail forward, move forward, make those changes, leave the troubles behind, leave the situation behind, leave the person behind, and move into the future, move into something new. And not allowing ourselves to be stuck because of past hurts and frustrations and inconveniences and hardships, but really open up and embrace the new. Taking that journey, taking those steps. For some, it could be that also relocating. Maybe part of why you haven't released someone is because you need to relocate. Maybe you have fears about work, fears about money, fears about how logistically to do that. But it really is about moving on. Really facing our problems, facing them head on so that we can let go and move forward. You see how he's in this boat and there's all this ice. So for a number of you, this is a relationship with someone that has been very icy. It's been very cold. Water is representative of emotions, feelings. And so you had this relationship with someone. You kept thinking it would turn around. You kept thinking that there were going to be positive changes, that maybe you would get out of this cold, this iciness, these sorrows. But time and time again, you have not. Which is why they're trying to get you to move forward. They have set you up in the past to move forward, to cross that bridge, to cross over to new beginnings, but you haven't. And that's why this is the foundation. Because it is time for you for some of you to physically move, to change homes. This could also be metaphorical. You know, maybe this person, maybe she was your home, and now it's time. Now you can change the sexes accordingly. I'm getting for many of you, it's a woman. You got this guy in a boat. We're going to go with it. If this is your story, change it accordingly. But you have this lover that you need to release her. You need to let her go. You kept thinking that, okay, maybe it's going to turn around this time. Maybe it's going to change. You know, I'm starting to see some light. I'm starting to see a little bit of love. She's kind of warming up a little bit to me. But every time, then she becomes cold as ice. The relationship becomes cold. It's emotionless. It doesn't have that deep connection that for many of you it had in the beginning. In the beginning, it was a positive relationship. It was going well. For some, this could be a business relationship. For most, it is love related, but it could have been a business. It could be a business founded on love. But they're trying to move you forward. They're trying to get you to something better, to someone better. They're trying to get you to cross that bridge. They're trying to move you forward. They're trying to move you into a new home with someone else, or someone else that is your home. This person was not your home. But you haven't wanted to do that. His head is like turned downward in like sadness, sorrow. Even though, you know, God and the angels, they've been lighting your way. See, he has this light on the stick. They've been trying to light your way. They've been trying to illuminate things for you. You have all this purple, and purple's all about transformation. It's all about also royalty. For some of you, this person has made you feel lesser than. They have made you feel as though like they're queen on the throne. They are better than you. You know, peacocks can represent arrogance. So for some of you, there was arrogance. It could have been at that person's end, where they made you feel as though you were not good enough, but you are royalty. You are better than that. For some of you, this was a relationship founded on sex, because, you know, you got the peacock, and so it could have been founded on sex. It was a sexual connection. But they're trying to move you to something better. They're trying to get you out of this cold relationship, this cold connection, also the situation that makes your heart cold. But what's blocking you, you have two of spring. Now, this is a wands, traditional tarot. This would be wands, and wands it's fire. It's all about taking action, doing things. And at the bottom it says, a bright future manifested through hard work and creativity. Partnering with others who share your dreams, great progress being made. And this is, you know, this card, it talks about a new start, a wonderful new start, making choices about the future, and also making choices that are short-term to, like, you know, start those baby steps, start creating the things that you desire. But in order to do that, you know, remembering that you're safe, remembering that you're protected, remembering that it is good to make those choices and evaluate the situation and make some decisions in order to move forward, because there are lots of opportunities. Now, you see how you have these two people, they're building a boat. They're building a boat so that they can sail forward, move forward. They're making wise choices. But they're saying what has blocked you is you have made some choices that have not been wise. They were not wise. They were not in your best interests for some of you. So for some of you, you made choices to have a new beginning with someone other than this person, or you made choices to go in a direction that were not good choices, that won't be fruitful. For others of you, what's blocking you is you're not making a choice. You know, in the Gilded Tarot, there's this figure, and he has these two wands, and one is by one path and the other is by the other path. So for some of you, and when he's looking on the scene, he can tell, you know, up to a certain point what's on, you know, both paths. One path he's familiar with, the other path he's totally unfamiliar with. So it's difficult for him to make the decision. So for some of you, you're trying to decide between two people. One that is the one that's known, and the path that is unknown. But the path that is known to you, it's not bearing fruit. that's the path that they're trying to get you off of. They're trying to get you to release that person. And what's blocking you is you're not making a choice. You're not making a choice. You're not making a decision. You're not preparing to move forward. You're not taking those steps that will move you forward, that will propel you forward. You've stagnated. And the big thing is it's hinging off of, for many of you, making a choice. Making a choice and doing something about it. And a number of you aren't making that choice because you're fearful. You're fearful of, how's this going to turn out? You can't see clearly on the one path, so you're afraid to go down that path because it's unknown to you. Which is interesting because the card, as far as what's unknown, you have 8 of Summer. And at the bottom it says, the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes. Now this is a Cups card. This is all about emotions. And you see how she's like on a path. She has all of her belongings on her. She has made a decision to leave a situation that is not good for her, that is not serving her, in order to move forward to something that will satisfy her, make her happy. It's challenging to leave. It's challenging to pack up all your things and move on, but it's what's best. It's what will bring happiness, relief, joy, a new beginning. And this fairy, she's chosen that. She's decided, you know what? This other thing, it's not working for me. So this is a turning point. This is the point where everything changes. This is where you leave home in order to seek something better, something deeper, something more meaningful. You leave behind what had previously been your comfort, or what had previously attracted you, nurtured you, sustained you, was the things that you were comfortable with, that you knew. It's also, turning away from shallow comfort. So for some of you that, if this was a relationship built on sex, the back is turned to that. But that isn't bringing you fulfillment. Some of you feel like, something's missing. Even though because they're saying for some of you, you have tried repeatedly to make this relationship work, and it fails over and over and over again. You keep trying because you think it can turn around. You think things can change. What is unknown to you is that it's not going to change. It's time to make a decision and go down a new path. Go down the path that you are not aware of. Because that new path, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You will find fulfillment. You will find the things that you desire. You'll no longer feel as though something's missing. It does require leaving everything that you've known, everything that you have been comfortable with. So for many of you, you've been with this person or in this situation for years. Or could be your entire, most of your adulthood. But it's not brought you fulfillment. Your hopes, your desires, the things that you've prayed for, the things that you have been longing, won't be fulfilled with this person or this situation. What's unknown is that if you can move forward, if you can have the courage, if you can overcome your fears, make that big change, make that decision, build that boat, you'll get out of this cold situation. You will find fulfillment. But it does take courage. A lot of you are having a lot of anxiety, almost like panic attacks. So for some of you, say this was a relationship, because I do get for most of you, it is love related. You had this person you kept thinking was your home. You have come to the realization it's cold, it's empty, it's shallow, it doesn't have any meaning, doesn't have any depth. It's time to let go. You have clung on to it so much, that person, you just refuse to let go. Letting go causes you fear and worry. But they're saying because for some of you, you know how you're trying to choose between two people? The known and the unknown. So for some of you, you do actually have a new love interest. And you're trying to choose between her and someone new. The current that they're trying to get you to release and let her go, doesn't cause you fear, but the one who, because they're saying for some of you, see how this is 8. 8 is all about, it's the infinity symbol. It's eternal love. It's a divine number. It's watched over by God, watched over by the heavens. So for some of you, you have met a divine love. This person, she's your home. She's your true home. And you know that at a deep core, deep level. You know that she will bring you the fulfillment and the happiness and the things that you desire that you have been seeking with the wrong person. But when you think about moving forward with her, so say this is the person that you're trying to release and you're trying to go toward the future with the new person, the one that they're encouraging you to let go of, it's comfort, it's money, it's built on something, it's shaky foundation. It's been shaky for a very long time, but you're comfortable with it because you're used to it. The new partner that they have brought into your life, you know it's a destined love. You know it's a fated love. It can be soulmate, twin flame, twin soul. It's a very strong, divine love. But when you think about moving forward in the new direction with this new person, for some of you, it causes you like panic attacks, anxiety, worries, like heart tremors, heart trembling. But that's because it's a divine love. That's because she's going to fulfill all of your desires. Everything that you want is within her, but you have to make the choice between the ex and her. And that's what's, again, blocking you, because you're not making that choice. You're not doing anything. But again, what's unknown, you are nearing the completion, the end. You are nearing the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are going to get better. You will find that fulfillment and happiness and that meaning that you're seeking, but it requires you to make a choice. It requires you to take some action. It requires you to put in the work and do the things that are necessary. Now, as far as what they're recommending you do this month, they're saying other than make a choice, you have gratitude. And at the bottom it says, as I notice and appreciate my blessings, I open the door for more of God's gifts. And this really is all about being thankful. You know, God wants us to be happy. God wants to fulfill us. All of our dreams, all of our desires. God wants the very best for us. But some of you don't think that that is true. Some of you feel as though you have been forgotten, as though God is not hearing your prayers, not answering them. But this is reminding you that God and the angels, they are trying to answer your prayers. It's just not in the way that you expected. So for some of you, you've held on to this person, this situation, refusing to let go. They are not the answer to your prayer, which is why you're being pushed to release them. There's someone new. There's something better. But they're saying some of you are not grateful for that. So for some of you that you've met the person, and you're trying to choose between two people, you are not grateful for that new person. And it's caused some contention and some problems between you and that person. And a heartache. But you're not grateful. You're not happy. You're not excited. God is trying to answer your prayers. They're just not being answered in the way that you imagined. If you open up to that, you will find out that they are being answered so much better than you could have ever imagined. Like everything you've hoped and prayed for and envisioned, if you open up to what's being brought to you, it's going to blow your mind. It will blow your mind, but you have to open up to it. And for some of you, maybe it's not a relationship, maybe it's a job. You know, they're trying to get you out of a work situation, you're unhappy, you're miserable. If you let it go and take that leap of faith, you're going to get into something so much better. It's going to bring you happiness, joy. You're going to enjoy going to work. You're not going to dread it and hate it any longer. But it does begin with gratitude. You need to come from a place of gratitude. You need to be thankful for what you have. You need to know that you have not been forgotten. Your prayers, your wishes, your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. But you need to also be in a state of thankfulness, being in a state of gratitude. Because by saying thank you, that really opens us up to abundance and fulfillment and prosperity and happiness. But we do need to be thankful for what we have. So a number of you don't feel thankful. You feel like you don't have anything worth being thankful over or for. But you do. It's in changing your perspective. And they're also saying for some of you, it's like shifting your perspective from a woe is me, my life is horrible, nothing's going right, to looking at the positives. If you can appreciate the small things, you'll find that every day you'll have more and more things to be grateful for. So for some of you, start a gratitude journal. You go get a notebook. You can write in it throughout the day or at night if you've got a process. If you meditate, pray at the end of the night, then fill out your gratitude journal. What are the things that you are thankful for that day? And what you'll find is as you start to be in a state of gratitude, thankful for the things that you're receiving, it may start out small that, oh, okay, I'm thankful because, the person at Starbucks paid me today. In the back of your mind, you're thinking, because I gave them money. Get rid of the negativity. Just, I'm thankful that the person at Starbucks smiled at me. I'm thankful that someone opened the door for me. I'm thankful that someone bought my lunch. I'm thankful that my friend helped me with some chores in my house. I'm thankful that somebody came over and helped me pack my stuff from that house so I can move. Whatever it is, write down all the things you're thankful for. What you will find is that list is going to grow, and the things that you're thankful for will become bigger. So you'll start to look at it and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is like a miracle. I can't believe that, I received this. But it starts with gratitude. Now, the other thing that they're recommending, you have new life, and this is all about new beginnings, new ideas, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, because when it's springtime, everything, is dead. It's all dead from winter, but springtime awakens everything. It has everything blossom, bloom. Everyone's filled with excitement, joy. They want to get outside. They want to enjoy these new beginnings, these miracles and things that are all around us. They're trying to bring you miracles. They are trying to give you a new life. Because for most of you, this is not a small person situation to release. This is big. This is pivotal for you. For some of you, this person has been your home for a very long time. Or this career, this, has been like your home, your stability, your rock. It's huge. It's going to change everything in your life that you've known for many, many years. But you see how there's this broken egg behind her? They're trying to crack open a new life for you. They're trying to bring you all the things that you desire. But you have to allow them to do that. See how she's like stretching as though she just woke up from a slumber? For some of you, this situation you've been in is almost like autopilot. You just do it because you've always done it. It's almost like you've been sleeping. But they're trying to wake you up. They're trying to wake you up and realize that this is not for you. They're trying to wake you up and realize you deserve better. They're trying to wake you up and bring you into a completely new life where you are receiving the things that you desire, that you want. But you have to allow them to do that for you. See how she's like got her arm up? It's almost like some of you, so this is divinely orchestrated, divinely led. It's out of your control. So for those of you that are in a situation, you've been pushed for a very long time to release this person, situation, but it's almost like you've been fighting God. You see how her arm is like up in the air? It's almost like you're saying, no, God, I don't want that. I'm going to keep praying for these things, but I refuse to make this change. This change is what will bring your dreams to fruition. And last, we have, okay, we're gonna look at the bottom of the deck too, apparently. Okay, so we have your home is protected by angels, and at the bottom it says, Archangel Michael, thank you for watching over my home and its inhabitants. I ask that you post guardian angels at each window and door, ensuring its security. Thank you for guiding my finances so that I can easily afford to pay my rent, mortgage, and taxes. So for a number of you, you're really worried about money. You're really worried about how you're going to pay for your home, pay for your living situation, your security, your finances, your stability. You're concerned about that. But they're saying you don't have to worry about that. They are taking care of you financially. Everything's well, everything's okay. They're assisting you. You don't have anything to worry about. For those of you that this does require a physical move, so for some of you that you actually have to move a distance, near water, over water, but you also don't have to worry about relocating. They're going to assist you with that. They're going to assist you with the expenses of that. And for some of you where you thought this person was your home, they're not your home. They're bringing you to someone else who is your home. Or for some, it could be, your job. Your job was like your home to you. But that's not your home. Your home is something greater. Your home is something better. Your home is filled with warmth, filled with love. Help them, allow them to lead you home. Because this isn't your home. Your home's down a different path. Allow them to do that. And it is protected. This new path they're trying to take you toward, it is protected. Okay. And then, the other thing that they're recommending as we throw cards around. Admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. And at the bottom it says, I appreciate your support in helping me face my feelings with grace and acceptance so that I can be lovingly honest with myself and others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for giving me courage and strength. So for a number of you, you refuse to accept this, that this is over, that it is time for a change, that this is not working for you. You refuse to see the truth. You refuse to accept the truth. But it's time for you to do that. And it's also time to take action. Because they're saying that's tied into this, what's blocking you is that you're not accepting the truth. You're not seeing things for what they are. You're not making a decision. You're not making a choice. Those are the actions that you need to take that they're trying to encourage you to do this month. And they will help you with that. So ask for their help. They will assist you. They will get you through this. I do hope that that helps, Saggies. They are saying for those of you in this situation, you've known this for a very long time. So it's not like I'm being the bearer of really bad news. You've known that. This has been filled with strife and heartache for many of you for years. This isn't a surprise. For some of you, there's like divorce papers, settlement papers. Actually, that you're like needing to sign and take care of, and you've refused to do that. You've refused to take the steps to move. You've refused to take the steps to divorce or separate. But you know that. Now, just pull 3 cards real quick on the situation of what it is that you're supposed to release to make sure there's nothing that I missed, and there's not. Okay. So you have pathway. And this is all about, a path where we think that there's light at the end of the tunnel. We think things are going to transform. We think things are going to change. But it's also about a long, rolling path because you've got these rocks and these boulders, and it's a bumpy, rocky path. So you've been in this relationship that's been filled with nothing but hardship, heartache, trials, tribulations. Every time you think, oh boy, this is going to transform this time. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to get better. You go back and you try to make it work, and you end up twisting your ankle, breaking your leg, breaking your foot, hitting your nose on a rock, because it's not meant to be. It is nothing. It's done nothing but fill you with despair. And this is despair. And you see he's sitting there, and he's in these shabby clothes, and he's just distraught from unemployment. You see the sign of not hiring. No one wants him. He feels like a failure. He's crying. He has tears falling onto the street. This is about grieving and weeping, severe stress, emotional exhaustion. But you have tried so hard. And it's love related. Lovers love. So you've had this person that you thought was your love. You thought this was your love of a lifetime. You thought this was your person that you were going to be with. But repeatedly, they have shut you out in the cold. Repeatedly, they have not wanted you. They have turned you away. That is why you are in this like broke up glacier of heartache and coldness. For some of you, that person's physically, they're cold. They're not warm. They're not filled with emotions. But they have repeatedly left you out in the cold. But you have remained loyal to them. Dogs are representative of loyalty. So every time you end up in tears, heartbreak, out in the cold, not wanted, not feeling appreciated, shut out. So for some of you, they could have cheated. They could have turned back on you. They could have lied to you, deceived you. Every time you end up at the state, but then you're like, oh, but she's the one. I'm going to make this work again. And I think that it's going to happen. I think it's going to change. Butterflies are all about transformation. I think I can transform this. But then you end up in this dive, this misery again. It's a cycle. It's karma. They're simply a lesson you were supposed to learn with this person. That's all they were. If you can sit back, Sagittarius, and take a look, what was the lesson she or he What's the lesson that you were supposed to learn from them? For many of you, it's unconditional love, because for many of you, she's not treated you well at all. You don't deserve that. You deserve something better, but you have not stood up for yourself. You have not spoken up for yourself. Because if we don't love ourselves, we'll put up with any crap that's thrown our way. Actually, we'll even shovel the crap that they throw our way, because we think that's all we deserve. Sometimes it's because they make us feel that way. Sometimes it's because it's how we grew up. That's how, our parents made us feel. Or it could be, stuff that we're, dragging along from past lives. You deserve better. They're trying to bring you better. They are trying to bring you to a new home. They're trying to bring you a new life. It's not with this person. Take the time to sit down. What's the lesson? What were you supposed to learn in addition to loving yourself unconditionally? If you can figure out the lesson this month, Sagittarius, make your decision, you will be able to step into this new life they have for you. Everything's prepared except for you. They're saying for most of you, you are keeping yourself stuck. Help them help you. Help them help you this month so you can wrap this year up on a good note. Because you've been really going through it, Saggies. Ever since Saturn has been causing you guys issues, but you've been going through this for a while. For a very long time. It's time to free yourself from this hardship, this heartache, this misery, because a number of you, you're just downright miserable. Help them help you step into some happiness, some joy, some bliss. The time has come. But it does hinge on you making a decision, doing some work. So hopefully you can do that this month. I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.